My name is David Yamada, and I'm a professor of law at Suffolk University Law School in Boston. I'm also one of the coordinators for the Massachusetts Healthy Workplace Advocates Group. About a decade ago, I started doing a lot of legal research on what types of protections might be available to targets of severe workplace bullying. I assumed that there would be various legal claims that could be brought on their behalf and that they might have a fair chance of success. I looked at several years of cases where targets had sued their employers for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And to my great surprise, the courts were extremely resistant to allowing those claims to go forward, even to the point of going forward to trial. Discrimination law is a possibility, but obviously you have to show a link to protected class status, such as race or sex or disability. And also people can be bullied in retaliation for whistleblowing. However, that still leaves a whole chunk of people for whom the law just doesn't offer them a legal remedy. It doesn't offer them a way to fight back against this form of mistreatment. And so that great void is why we need some type of legal protection for targets of severe bullying at work. Well, in Massachusetts, among other states, we have proposed what's called the Healthy Workplace Bill. This is legislation that I've authored that gives a claim for damages for an individual who can show that they have been subjected to severe, targeted, malicious bullying and that they have suffered health consequences as a result. The legislation also builds in incentives to employers to act preventively, so that they can minimize their liability exposure by showing that they acted preventively and responsively toward workplace bullying as a problem in the workplace. So this legislation gives a severely bullied worker a chance to bring a claim against both the organization, the employer, as well as the employees who were more directly responsible for this form of abuse towards them. It's fair to say that the United States is well behind many of our neighbors across the world in terms of fashioning some type of legal protections against workplace bullying. If you just sort of span the globe, I think the first place to look at is Europe, where most nations of the European Union have enacted some form of protections against severe workplace bullying. In addition, the European Union itself has enacted a framework that directs member nations to create legal protections against bullying at work. If you go just to our north, in Canada, most of the provinces have enacted some type of legislation against bullying at work, and the Canadian national government also has covered bullying in its occupational safety and health codes. If you hop across the pond a little, you'll see that most of the states of Australia and the Australian national government have been tackling workplace bullying through their workplace safety and health laws and other legal protections. The primary criticism we're hearing about the Healthy Workplace Bill is coming from some of the business sector, and in essence they're saying, look, we don't need this legislation. It's going to open up the floodgates to too many lawsuits, and that the legislation is an attempt to sort of micromanage management decisions at the workplace. My response to that is that if you look closely at the language of this statute, it only gets at the most severe situations. We require in the Healthy Workplace Bill that a plaintiff show that the aggressor, or the bully if you will, intended to cause distress or harm to the individual and did indeed succeed in having that kind of a health impact. It's about trying to stop abuse at work. It's not about trying to stop people having or regulate people having a bad day at the office. Workplace bullying in its most severe forms is more akin to domestic abuse or some of the really destructive stuff that we're seeing on the internet and the schoolyard with kids. So it's resulting in the kind of harm that's causing individuals to wake up in the morning and be unable to get out of bed because they're so depressed and they're so scared of what's going to happen to them if they show up at the office. So that's what we have to remember, that we are trying to get at a form of mistreatment that rises to the level of other forms of abuse that society has recognized and responded through our legal system. And hopefully this will be one way for us to combat this form of severe mistreatment at work. There's another group that's criticizing the Healthy Workplace Bill, saying we've made it too difficult to sue an employer or co-employees for bullying at work. And I think when you take the criticisms of the Healthy Workplace Bill, one coming from the employer side and the other coming from some folks who are saying, look, you've made it too hard to sue, maybe that means that we've sort of hit the sweet spot, that we are trying to create legislation that gets at the worst forms of this behavior, but also we're trying to build in incentives for employers to act preventively. If we can achieve that, then I think we'll have created legislation that not only helps people who have been abused in this manner, but that also helps to prevent the behavior from even occurring.